Alright guys, so hope you're doing fine as always. In today's video we'll have a quick look at this 5-hour short trade that I took on HNT. I did take this trade on the 25th of October. I did record my chart live when looking for this setup, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright, so I'm here on the HNT chart on the 1-hour time frame. First things first, what's standing out is this big wick, and then the massive green vector candles that we have below current price. As this is a huge zone, I decide to remove the box and just draw a line there. We know anything below this white line is vector candles on the 1-hour time frame. We see the same on the 15-minute time frame. Not all of them are vectors, but we do have vector activity there. We also have vector activity which we are currently recovering. Then on the 5-minute time frame, we see we have even more vector activity, so all of that wick were vector candles. So I'm just drawing out my top red vector candle here, which we pretty much nearly recovered. I'm really interested in a short here. As you saw, price was overextended. We're pushing quite strongly with vector candles upward, so they're recovering their positions. We are near a big liquidity zone, so I'm looking for a reversal personally. I'm willing to enter here in the midpoint of this red vector candle. Very important here is I have my stop loss above the liquidity with some wiggle room. I do want this wiggle room here above, as I'm not quite certain if they want to do the full recovery of the vector candle or sweep the liquidity. I think there's a good chance that we will sweep the liquidity as well. I do have my entry in the vector candle recovery, just in case they don't go for the sweep and make a lower high. But I don't mind if they move up, wick the liquidity. I have my stop loss with some wiggle room above it, so I don't mind if they do that to then reverse. My TP, I'm looking for the beginning of these downwards vector candles. As we know, anything below this white line are vector candles. And that's pretty much everything to this setup. So I adapt my stop loss a tiny bit that I have a nice 5-hour setup. But as you can see, enough wiggle room for a wick to then make the recovery. There is the argument that you could say I want to TP here, which is totally valid. I just decided I want to be below the lows into the big green vector candles that we saw right here. We see on the hourly that it's quite an aggressive pump up, so I do expect quite an aggressive retrace as well, but we'll see what happens. So that's pretty much everything to this setup. So now what can we tell about this trade in hindsight? First of all, screenshot of the trade, entry at 2.573, 2.573, TP at 2.375, 2.375, resulting into a 76% ROI on 10x leverage. Most importantly for us, it's a 5-hour trading setup. So we can see we pretty much pumped through the entry. Like we mentioned before, they did go for the liquidity sweep, which we low-key expected here, but we wanted to entry just in case. This is a vector candle on the 5-minute time frame, if you remember from the setup. But they did decide to sweep the liquidity to then start reversing from there. You can see they reversed pretty aggressively, bounced around the 50 EMA here for a little bit to then eventually break down and even go for the full recoveries here. If we look a bit further, they went even more down. If we zoom out, they went down quite aggressively. They recovered the vectors, went even more down to these vectors all the way down here, even sweeping into this vector right here, which is quite crazy, but that's could have, would have, should have. We got a 5R, which we can't complain about. Whatever happens after, we don't care about. Could have said we could have targeted a 15 or 13R. We could have targeted 13R, but that's hindsight. No one is going for such a moves, or at least I'm not. I'm more than happy with this 5R. Quite a clean trade, just keeping it simple, sweeping the liquidity, reversing into the vector candles. Just the vector and liquidity play, and that's all. Tight stop loss. If they wanted to go higher, we should have looked for a re-entry probably at these levels, but they didn't, so we got our trades. That's all that matters. So that's everything to this trade. As always, if there are any more questions, please feel free to ask it in the comment section or on the Discord server. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. See ya. Bye bye.